How did he know my name when I had never been there before? This happened in 2019. At the time, I had just moved to Jaipur for a new job. New city, new people, no friends. And if I'm being honest, I was completely alone. I used to stay up late most nights, scrolling on my phone, watching random videos, or just lying there in silence. But there was something off about the place I was staying in. I was living in a small PG-style building. Nothing fancy, just a few rented rooms and shared spaces. But there was one thing that always bothered me. The last room on the third floor. It was always locked. I asked the owner about it once. He just laughed it off and said, "Old room. Nobody uses it." But here's the thing. Every single night, around 2 a.m., I would hear something coming from up there. A faint dragging sound, like something heavy, being pulled across the floor. At first, I ignored it, told myself it was just in my head. Old building pipes. Wood expanding. You know, normal explanations. But then one night, I checked the time. 2:17 a.m. And right at that exact moment, knock, knock, knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. I froze. The sound didn't come from my door. It came from upstairs. From that locked room. I sat there for a long time, not moving, trying to convince myself it was nothing. But something deep inside me felt wrong. The next night, I made a decision. I was going to check it out. At 2:10 a.m., I quietly stepped out of my room and walked toward the stairs. The entire building was silent. Not just quiet, dead silent. Like the air itself was holding its breath. As I reached the third floor, I immediately felt it. The temperature had dropped. The air felt heavier. The room was still there. At the end of the hallway, door closed, just like always. But this time, there was a faint light coming from underneath it. My heartbeat started racing. I slowly walked closer, each step feeling louder than it should. And then, I heard movement inside. Slow, dragging footsteps. I stood right in front of the door. My hand hovered over the handle. For a second, I almost turned back, but I didn't. I pushed the door. Slowly, it opened. The room was empty. No furniture, no person, nothing, except a broken chair in the corner and something written on the wall. I stepped inside, my eyes adjusting to the dim light. And when I finally read what was written, my legs nearly gave out. "Why did you come back?" My throat went dry. I whispered to myself, "This has to be a joke." And then, the door behind me started to close. Creak. I turned instantly and grabbed it before it shut completely. I didn't think. I didn't look back. I just ran. That night, I didn't sleep, not even for a second. But the real horror started the next morning. 8 a.m. I was downstairs having breakfast, trying to act normal, trying to convince myself I imagined everything. Then the owner walked up to me, casually, and asked, "You went upstairs last night, didn't you?" My hand froze midair. The cup almost slipped from my fingers. I looked at him and said, "How do you know that?" He went quiet for a few seconds. Then he leaned in slightly and said in a low voice, "Because that room has been locked for 5 years, and I'm the only one who has the key." I felt something cold crawl down my spine. I immediately said, "But the door was open, and inside." He cut me off. "No one lives there, and no one ever came back." That last sentence stuck in my head. No one ever came back, which means someone went there and never returned. And then, that evening, something happened that I still can't explain. I was sitting in my room, just staring at my phone, trying not to think about what happened, when suddenly, I got a call from an unknown number. I hesitated, but I answered. For a few seconds, there was only silence. Then, a voice came through, low, distorted, barely human. "You came back." My heart stopped, because it was my voice. Part 2. I stayed frozen, holding my phone to my ear. My own voice, coming from the other side. "You came back." For a second, I couldn't even breathe. I pulled the phone away and looked at the screen. Unknown number, no caller ID. I brought it back to my ear. My hand was shaking now. "Who is this?" I asked. Silence. Then, A faint sound. Not words. Not exactly. Breathing. Slow. Uneven. Like someone standing very close. Just listening to me. My chest tightened. I was about to hang up when the voice came back. Don't. Go upstairs. Again. The call cut. Just like that. No beep. No disconnect tone. Nothing. I sat there for a long time. Phone still in my hand. Trying to process what just happened. That wasn't a prank. It didn't feel like one. It felt like a warning. That night, I told myself I wouldn't go back. No matter what. But around 2 a.m., I woke up suddenly. No sound. No dream. Nothing. Just awake. I looked at the clock. 2:16 a.m. And then, knock, knock, knock. 3 knocks. Same as before. But this time, it wasn't upstairs. It was right outside my door. Every part of my body went cold. I slowly sat up in bed, not making a sound. Another knock. Slower this time. Knock. 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 I stared at the door, waiting, hoping it would stop. It didn't. Then, something worse happened. A voice, right outside my door, soft, barely above a whisper, opened the door. My heart started pounding so hard I thought it would give me away. Because it was my voice, exactly like the one on the phone. Same tone, same distortion. I covered my mouth with my hand, trying not to make a sound. The handle moved. Click. My door was locked. I always locked it, but the handle kept moving, slowly, like someone testing it. Then it stopped, and for a few seconds, there was complete silence. I thought it was over, until I heard footsteps, walking away, not toward the stairs, toward the 3rd floor. The next morning, I didn't open my door until sunrise. When I finally did, the hallway was empty. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I stepped out slowly, looked around. Nothing. Then I noticed something on the floor, right outside my door. Scratches. Deep. Fresh. Like someone had dragged something sharp across the wood. And right in the center, there were marks. 3 straight lines. Like someone counting. I needed answers. That was it. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I went straight to the owner. I need the key to that room, I said. He looked at me differently this time. Not annoyed. Not dismissive. Worried. No, he said immediately. I've already been inside, I told him. And something is wrong up there. He stayed quiet for a long time. Then he sighed and said something that made my stomach drop. You weren't supposed to open that door. A chill ran through me. Why? I asked. He looked around, like he didn't want anyone else to hear. Then he said quietly, because the last person who stayed in your room. He paused, said the same things you're saying now. My heart started racing again. What happened to him? I asked. The owner didn't answer right away. Then finally, he disappeared. The final detail. I felt dizzy. Everything suddenly felt too real. What was his name? I asked. The owner looked me straight in the eyes and said, Your name. I didn't understand. What? He repeated it, slowly. His name was the same as yours. And in that moment, everything inside me dropped. Because suddenly, something clicked. The voice, the writing, the warning. Why did you come back? I wasn't just in the wrong place. I had been here before. After the owner said that, his name was the same as yours. Something inside me shifted. I didn't argue. I didn't question him. Because deep down, I already knew it was true. I just didn't know how. That same day, I went back to my room, locked the door, closed the curtains, and then I did something I should have done earlier. I checked my phone, call logs, messages, photos. Everything looked normal. Until I opened my notes app. There was a file I didn't remember creating. No title, just a date, October 17th. But here's the problem. Today was October 17th. My fingers felt cold as I opened it. Inside, there were just a few lines written. If you're reading this, it means you came back again. My heart dropped. Do not go to the 3rd floor. It learns from you. It copies you. My breathing got heavier because the last line said, Next time, it won't let you leave. The realization. My hands were shaking now. That note wasn't written for someone else. It was written for me, but I had no memory of writing it, which meant only one thing. I had already gone through this before. 2:17 a.m. again. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, watching the clock. 2:10, 2:14, 2:16, and then 2:17 a.m. The knock came. Knock, knock, knock. This time, I didn't move, because I knew it wanted me to open the door. But then, something changed. The knock didn't stop. It kept going. Louder. Faster. Knock. 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 My door started shaking. And then, the voice screamed, "Open the door." It wasn't whispering anymore. It was angry. And it was still my voice. The breaking point. I couldn't take it anymore. I stood up, walked to the door. My hand touched the handle. And in that moment, I realized something. The knocking stopped. Complete silence. Like it was waiting. Slowly, I turned the handle. Click. And opened the door. What I saw. The hallway was empty. But at the far end, near the stairs leading up, someone was standing there. It was dark, but I could still see the shape. Same height. Same posture. It was me. Not just similar. Not looked like me. It was me. Same face. Same clothes. Same everything. But something was wrong. It wasn't blinking. And then, it smiled. A slow, unnatural smile. The truth. It took a step toward me and said, "You weren't supposed to remember this time." My legs wouldn't move. I couldn't run. I couldn't scream. "Every time you come back," it said, "you get a little closer to staying." Tears started forming in my eyes. "What are you?" I whispered. It tilted its head slightly and said, "I'm the one who didn't leave. The last memory. Everything after that is broken. Fragments. The hallway. Darkness. That thing. Walking past me. And then, stepping into my room. The ending. I woke up the next morning. In my bed. Everything looked normal. Too normal. I checked my phone. No strange calls. No notes. Nothing. I ran upstairs. To the 3rd floor. That room was locked. I went to the owner, who lived in my room before me. I asked. He looked confused and said, "You're the first one." Final line. I didn't argue. I didn't say anything. Because when I got back to my room, I saw something on the wall. Something that wasn't there before. 3 lines, scratched deep into the paint. And underneath them, written in black, "Welcome back. Whatever entered my apartment didn't come through the door." This happened in 2021. At the time, I was living alone in a small 1-bedroom apartment in Mumbai. I had just started working remotely. No roommates, no visitors, no real social life. My routine was simple. Work during the day, eat something quick at night, then scroll on my phone or watch something until I fell asleep. At first, the silence felt peaceful, but after a few weeks, that silence started to feel wrong. The first incident. One night, I walked into the kitchen to grab some water. When I came back to my room, my laptop screen was on. I clearly remembered shutting it down. Not sleep mode, not minimized. Shut down. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe it restarted. Maybe a glitch. But when I got closer, I saw something that made my stomach drop. A notepad was open, and there was a sentence typed on the screen. "You're still awake?" I froze. I was alone. The apartment door was locked from the inside. Slowly, I closed the laptop and told myself it was nothing. A bug. A system error. But deep down, I knew this wasn't a glitch. The second night, I tried to ignore it, pretend it never happened. The next night, I went to bed earlier than usual. Around 1:30 a.m., I suddenly woke up. No noise. No nightmare. Just awake. The room was completely dark, but something felt off, like someone was watching me. That feeling, you can't explain, but you can't ignore it either. Slowly, I turned my head toward the door. It was slightly open. I had locked it. I was sure of it. My heart started pounding. I got up, walked to the door, and pushed it shut. As soon as I turned back, I heard a soft sound behind me. Click. I turned instantly. Nothing. But at that moment, I knew I wasn't alone anymore. The third night, everything changed. That day, I made a decision. I wasn't going to sleep. I turned off the lights, laid in bed, and pretended to be asleep. The room was completely silent. Then, around 2:03 a.m., I heard footsteps. Slow, measured, coming from outside my room. Step, step, step. My breathing stopped. The footsteps came right up to my door and stopped. Silence. Then, the door slowly opened. Creak. I kept my eyes shut. Didn't move. Didn't breathe. But I could feel it. Something had entered the room. It was inside. It moved slowly, closer to my bed. I could hear it breathing. Cold. Heavy. Wrong. And then, it sat down next to me. The mattress dipped slightly. My heart was pounding so hard. I was sure it could hear it. Then, it leaned close to my ear and whispered, "You're really good at pretending to sleep." My eyes snapped open, and there was no one there. The morning after, I didn't sleep at all. As soon as the sun came up, I checked the entire apartment. Everything was locked. Windows, doors, nothing out of place. Until I looked in the mirror. There were 3 finger marks on the back of my neck. Red, fresh. At that exact moment, my laptop made a notification sound. Slowly, I turned toward it. The screen was on again. Notepad was open, and this time, it said, "You opened your eyes. Now the game begins." Part 2. I didn't touch the laptop. Not right away. I just stood there, staring at the screen. You opened your eyes. Now the game begins. My first thought was simple. Someone is messing with me. But that didn't explain the door, the footsteps, the weight on the bed, or the fingerprints on my neck. Nothing about this felt human. That day, I didn't go to work. I didn't leave the apartment. Instead, I started checking everything. Doors, windows, locks, every inch of the place. Nothing was broken. No signs of forced entry. No hidden cameras. Nothing, which only made it worse. Because if nothing got in, then it was already inside. The message changes. After a few minutes, I slowly walked back to the laptop. The notepad was still open, but the text had changed. Rule 1. Don't look at me when I'm inside. Rule 2. Don't leave the apartment after 2 a.m. Rule 3. If you hear your voice, it's not you. My chest tightened. Because I had already broken the first rule. I opened my eyes, testing reality. I grabbed my phone, called a friend. It rang, and rang, and rang. No answer. I tried again. Different number. Same result. Then I tried ordering food, just to prove something normal could still happen. The app confirmed the order. Everything looked fine. But an hour later, no delivery, no driver, no update. It was like the outside world had stopped responding. 1:58 a.m. That night, I sat on my bed, lights off, laptop closed, watching the time, 1:59, and then, 2 a.m. The temperature dropped instantly, not slowly, not naturally, instantly. My breath became visible, and then, I heard it, a soft sound, coming from the corner of the room. Tap, tap, tap. It was already inside. I didn't move. I remembered the rule. Don't look at me when I'm inside. So I kept my eyes fixed forward. But the sound kept getting closer. Tap, tap, tap. Slow, deliberate, until it stopped right in front of me. I could feel it, standing there, watching me, waiting. Then, it spoke. Look at me. My entire body tensed. Because it was my voice again, but clearer this time. Closer. You already did before. It whispered, "Why are you pretending now?" My eyes started watering. Every instinct in my body was screaming, "Look," but I didn't. The trick, after a few seconds, it changed tactics. I heard my phone ring, right next to me, but I knew. My phone was on silent. Then, my mother's voice. Soft, concerned. Pick up the phone. My heart almost broke, because it sounded exactly like her. "Why aren't you answering me?" she said. Tears started forming. I almost turned, almost looked. But then, I remembered Rule 3. If you hear your voice, it's not you. And I realized it wasn't just copying me. It could copy anyone. The breaking sound. Suddenly, something slammed against the wall. Loud. The entire room shook. And for a split second, I flinched. My eyes shifted, just slightly. And in that tiny moment, I saw it. What I wasn't supposed to see. It was standing right in front of me. Too tall, too still. Its body looked like mine, but stretched, distorted. Its face was mine, but the eyes, completely black. And it was smiling. Silence. Everything stopped. No sound, no movement. Then slowly, it leaned closer. You looked. My heart dropped, because I knew what that meant. I broke the rule. The last line. It moved back into the darkness, and the temperature slowly returned to normal. My laptop screen turned on by itself. Notepad opened, and a final line appeared. Final rule, don't fall asleep. Part 3. Final rule, don't fall asleep. Those words stayed on the screen, burning into my mind. I didn't move, didn't blink, didn't even breathe properly, because I understood something now. This wasn't random. This wasn't a haunting. This was a test, and I was already losing. 3:12 a.m. Time felt wrong. Minutes stretched. Seconds repeated. I kept staring at the wall, trying not to think, trying not to blink. But my body was failing me. My eyes burned. My head felt heavy. And then, I blinked. The first slip. Nothing happened. At least, that's what I thought. But then, I heard breathing again. Right behind me. Slow. Heavy. You're getting tired. My voice. Again. I gripped the edge of the bed, trying to stay awake. But my vision started to blur. The room felt farther away. The fight. I stood up suddenly, started pacing, slapping my own face, trying to stay conscious. Stay awake. I whispered to myself. Stay awake. Stay awake. But something was wrong. No matter how much I moved, I felt like I wasn't actually moving, like I was stuck in the same spot. Then I looked at the clock. 3:12 a.m. Still, it hadn't changed. Through the loop. That's when I realized. Time wasn't moving forward anymore. It was waiting. Waiting for one thing. For me to fall asleep. The voice gets closer. The breathing got louder. Closer. Until I felt something right behind my shoulder. You don't have to fight it. My knees almost gave out. You've already done this before. That sentence hit me harder than anything else. What do you mean? I whispered. And then, it answered. Every time you fall asleep, I wake up. My heart stopped. The truth. Memories started flashing. Not clearly, not fully, but enough.
Me waking up in this room. Backhand index pointing right me, reading the same messages. Backhand index pointing right me, hearing the same voice. Over and over again. Backhand index pointing right, you forget. It said softly. Backhand index pointing right, but I don't. Warning the final choice. I was barely standing now. My body was shutting down. Eyes closing. No matter how hard I tried. Backhand index pointing right, just sleep. It whispered. Backhand index pointing right, and I'll take it from here. I stumbled toward the door. If I could just leave, maybe I could break it. I grabbed the handle, pulled it open, warning what was outside. It wasn't the hallway. Backhand index pointing right, it was my room. Exactly the same. Same bed, same laptop, same everything. And on the bed, backhand index pointing right, I saw myself. Sleeping, warning the ending. I turned slowly. The thing was standing behind me now. No hiding, no pretending. Backhand index pointing right, it stepped forward. And for the first time, it looked completely normal. Exactly like me. Then it smiled. Backhand index pointing right, good night. Everything went black. Warning the next morning. I woke up. In my bed. Sunlight coming through the window. Everything felt normal. Peaceful. I sat up. Checked my phone. No strange messages. No missed calls. Nothing. I laughed a little. Just a nightmare, I said to myself. I got out of bed. Walked to the mirror. And froze. Backhand index pointing right, my reflection didn't move. It was still lying in bed. Sleeping. And the version of me in the mirror. Backhand index pointing right slowly smiled. Warning final line. From behind me. I heard my own voice say. Backhand index pointing right, don't worry. Backhand index pointing right, I'll stay awake this time.